Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about present moment awareness, ladies and gentlemen. That is a thinker. So, that is exactly what we will be thinking about today. Luckily, I have my special guest, Zac, here, who's going to be helping us think about this in a whole new way. So, thank you so much, Zac, for coming onto my show. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you are with me. So, I truly appreciate this moment. So, let's just dive right in. What does present moment awareness necessarily make you think about?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Appreciate the invitation. Appreciate being here with you this morning. It doesn't actually make me think about anything, right? Because thinking is a construct of the egocentric mind, right? Of our ability to ruminate and pontificate and analyze. So for me, present moment consciousness is simply that consciousness in the
Mm,
moment, present moment awareness. So being here right now and nowhere
right? No,
else.
no distractions, no thinking about what you're doing later, no thinking about what you did last night. It's about being just present in the moment. And I think that is something that we all just really need to just consciously be aware. Like when we get lost in our thoughts in these scenarios that we play out in our minds, like we can tell ourselves, stop. I don't got to think about this. I can just do the dishes, or I can just walk the dog, or I could just be here with my kids, or I could just work in the moment. So, and I think that's one thing that I'm learning how to do myself. But in your opinion, why do you think it's so easily for people to get distracted?
Well, it's not even so much that it's easily for people to get distracted, it's that they are distracted, right? The majority of human beings live in the constructs of the egocentric mind. And that's a big esoteric conversation in itself, which we can get into depending on how deep you want to go with this. But essentially, it's maladaptive behavior patterns from when we're a child that we live through, that we create belief structures around, that we create adaptations around, and that we live through the majority of our lives. So, it's not so much that we're distracted as we are being a distraction. So
Mm.
we are living in our minds instead of the objective reality that is in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very good point. We really don't realize how we can just be a distraction all up in ourselves. We are just constantly supposed to just live in the moment because all we have is today. You know what I mean? All we have is right now. Like we woke up and this is all that we have. And I think it's so important for us to remember like everything is so beautiful in each day that's given to us. You know what I mean? There's so many opportunities to learn, there's so many opportunities to grow, there's so many opportunities to just appreciate the smallest things to find that joy in today. And I don't think that a lot of people really acknowledge the fact that there's so much greatness in each and every day if we allow ourselves to accept it as that it is our today. You know what I mean? It is our focus for right now in our moments. So it leads me to my next question. When did you realize that you needed to start being more present?
I don't know if it was so much a realization as it was an ongoing path, an ongoing process. I think it's just through a culmination of life experience, things that happened to me objectively, things that I subjectively narrated, stories that I told myself, beliefs that didn't serve me, and sort of a feeling like a lot of people have, I think, that there's, more to this, that there's just maybe something not right, or just the uneasiness and the sort of internal workings that we have that just kind of keep us uneasy, keep us suffering, keep us in the mind. And maybe we don't realize it because, you don't really realize you're living a story unless you're actually aware that you're living a story. So awareness, in my opinion, is kind of the key. And we can sort of realize where we're at when we're aware of it. We don't know that which we don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
once we know something, then we can decide whether or not that serves us or not. So, not really sure if that answered your question, but kind of a
No, that
long-winded version.
No, you answered it beautifully because people really don't realize it's a problem or something is trying to gravitate your attention unless you know of it. You know what I mean? It's like the
Yeah,
saying,
for sure.
you don't know better. I mean, you do better once you know better. So it's like once we start allowing ourselves to perceive things in a different way and we start contradicting the truths that we have believed and realize those are actually lies, like you were talking about earlier, then you can really have a reframing of your perspective, a reframing of your life and every day that's given to you, because every day is truly a gift in itself. So, I mean, how do you calm yourself down? How do you get grounded and find your zen?
Well, I mean, those are all kind of big stories too, right? The idea of groundedness and Zen and so forth. Those are all human constructs and human narratives, right? So, I mean, beingness, that's the thing, right? I mean, I kind of live in a state of being, I'm a human being, so I still have flaws and I still have triggers and I still have, things to deal with, things to explore. But for me, I don't really have to calm myself down. I don't have to do anything because those are constructs of the mind, right? So you don't require calmness. You don't require anything when you're just living in the moment, when you're just being. So I live from a frame of reference of knowing, right? I mean, I don't have belief structures. I don't believe in anything. I approach it a little bit differently. I have a knowing. So my knowing is just the existence of life, which
Mm.
is what we all are. We're all the experience of life. And we identify with labels and structures and things that people have told us about ourselves. But none of those are true. Those are all just human narratives, stories that have been told, passed down from generations to generation, things that we've
Yeah.
adapted, beliefs that we've sort of embodied that at the end of the day really don't serve our experience, don't serve our loved ones, and don't serve humanity. So,
Yeah, I like the way that you put it, because when we are just living beings and we allow ourselves to just be all that we are without those extra narratives and without those extra formations that we need to fit into just to be whatever that the world or whatever that your community or whatever you may be exposed to, it truly does separate us from just being a being, you know what I mean? A human being. Like, I think if
yeah,
humanity actually realized that we're just human beings, just living every day the way that we can do the best that we can. I think that's like a load is off of our chest, because now we're no longer living up to this expectation of just whatever it is for each person, because it's very subjective. But I think
yeah,
that is something that is truly interesting. So, has
for
that
sure.
something, have you always like grew up knowing that you were just a being, or is that something that you
No.
developed in time that you were just like, I'm gonna just be a human being and despite everything else?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, there's a lot there, right? So it's not so much as it is like despite everything else or just that I knew that I was a human being or not. I lived in my head a lot of narcissistic behavior patterns, a lot of rumination and thought. I always had a need to know, which was much to my detriment,
Mm,
because knowing doesn't actually do anything for our experience of life.
yeah,
Acquiring more knowledge and analyzing things more doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve anything in our experience, right? So that was one of my big detriments, was always wanting to know that. So there had to come a point in time in my life where I had to let go of that. And like I said, it was a combination of a lot of things, a lot of experience, a lot of things that were really bothersome to me, a lot of things that perturbed me a lot. And I was kind of really just tired of living that way. So I figured in myself I needed to find another way. And the more I learned, the less it satisfied me. And the more knowledge I acquired, the less it served me. So
yeah,
at some point, I just had to let go of all of that. And that's really the key to living in present moment consciousness, living a life of freedom, a life of contentment, is to live that life, is to be the existence of life outside of the fear based narratives and
mm,
outside of the constraints of the constant need to know the righteousness, the opinions.
absolutely.
Once we're outside of that, I mean, life is bliss then. Life is just amazing because we're
Yeah,
unaffected by the circumstances and situations that arise. We're unaffected by the way things go because, you know, we're righteous in a lot of aspects. We think that things should be this way and they should be that way. And we're upset that they're not the way that we think they should be when that happens. So we suffer greatly.
yeah, we
And
do.
the more we do that, the more we perpetuate that narrative and the more we have that experience.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, that's a very valid point. When our mind is focused in that aspect, it really does cause us to lead in that direction. But it really does come down to what you focus on is where you are led to. So if you're focused on just being in the present moment, if you focus on just staying connected with whatever that is just happening in your front of you in the moment, it really does help you just ignore everything else because what everything else that you're thinking about or possibly could happen, I mean, that's for a later time, you know what I mean? That's when it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen, then what's the point of worrying about it? You know what I mean? It's not even gonna happen.
for
Why even
sure.
assume and why even allow that anxiety to build up into something that is not even going to serve you in any type of way because it doesn't. It causes you high blood pressure, it causes you anxiety, it causes you a panic attack, it causes you to the point of having a heart attack. You know what I mean? It affects your body, it affects us in
Mhm.
such a way that if we don't allow ourselves to just be, just be all that we are, then we will never know all that we could actually be. And it just all starts with just us being present and in the moment. So how do you avoid from judgment when you see people anxious or you see people always in the future or always in the past or never actually in the present moment? Like how do you stop yourself from judging another person?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the key is awareness, right? So it's kind of nuanced, but the past and the future don't exist, right? Like we always
Not
talk about
yet,
the
right? Yeah.
past. Yeah, like we always talk about the past, right? Because it's an experience that we have, but it's an artifact of our mind. So the past is just simply a piece. The past is recalled, right? People say to me a lot of time, "Well, no, Zach, the past was yesterday, right?" I know the past. I had it yesterday. I was working out this morning. I was working out yesterday. I was spending time with my kids, and it's like for sure. But where are you recalling that past from? The
Yeah.
present moment. You're sitting here with me, and you're telling me about your past, which is an artifact that doesn't exist. And then you'll tell me, no, but the future exists too. Tomorrow morning I've got this appointment and da da da, and I'm going in the afternoon. I said, sure. But where is the future? Where is that day? Well, it's the same thing. We're recalling it from this present moment right here. You're pontificating, you're creating this fantasy, this an illusion of something because you, at the end of the day, have absolutely no idea what's going to happen tomorrow or not. You could
Yeah.
not be here. That appointment could be canceled. A milieu of things could happen or not happen. So it's still in the moment an illusion, either from the past or from the future. So I think that the key is living in the moment, but the key more than anything is just letting go of the story and the narrative that you have about that. We love
Yeah.
to talk to ourselves. So even something as simplistic as
Yeah.
yesterday is something that happened and true, and tomorrow is definitely going to happen in 12 hours from now. My invitation to people is to just let go of the need to think about that at all because it doesn't
Yeah.
serve you right. Now, it's not saying to be reclusive to life. There's still things we want to do. We have an appointment at 2:15 tomorrow. That's great. But we make the appointment at 2:15 tomorrow. It's in our calendar and that's it. There's a very big difference between that and thinking about that appointment for the next 9 hours, telling stories about that appointment, worrying about
Yeah.
that appointment, worrying about the humans that are going to judge us while we're going to that appointment, worrying about how we're going to get to that appointment, whether we're going to make it on time, whether the car is going to work out, what's going to happen first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
which is hypothetical, but the reality for a lot of folks spend that amount of time in their head outside of the experience of life. So every time you're in that story lost in your head, you're missing out. You're missing out on all the glory of life. So,
Right, most definitely. I mean, I see your point, and it really does make so much sense because when we allow ourselves to be in that illusion, in that space that doesn't really exist, then it just makes us forget about what is existing right now in front of us. You know what I mean? And it really
yeah,
does make us not even focus on right now because like you said, we're worrying about what's going to happen, what's going to take place. Is there going to be traffic? Is there not going to be traffic? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Because when you come across it in your present moment, then that's when you'll deal with it. You know what I mean? And when your kids are yelling, okay, you deal with it when you deal with it. Don't anticipate the yelling. Don't anticipate the frustration. I think that's a lot is a hard part for people is just that anticipation portion is that they always feel like they have to anticipate, but when
for sure.
you have that self-awareness and you're just aware of just being in the present moment, it allows you to just release that, you know what I mean? And just free yourself from those unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary worries. Because yeah, I'm one that used to live in my head so much. Oh my goodness. I could live in my head all day, every day, have a party, and not even experience life in what it is and what it entails, and then be frustrated because I feel like I never did anything in my day because I was just living too far in my future, and it was really frustrating for me. So for me, I realized like, you know what? I need to be more present. I need to be more aware of what's going on within me, what's going on around me, so that I can see the beauty in each and every day. Because, oh my goodness, once I put my phone down and I just and deleted all the apps from my phone, I allowed myself to truly experience life. And you can see the clouds go and move in such a way that it's, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? I don't understand the science, but you know what I mean? It's beautiful just to know that the clouds are moving and we have these layers to protect us from the outer space. And you know what I mean? Like if you allow
Yeah,
yourself to just be in the moment, you can just see the beauty in nature, just the beauty in the environment that you're just in, and you really take a second to realize like, wow, life is truly beautiful. Life is amazing. Life has so many greatness in itself that when we don't allow ourselves to just be present, we really steal that from ourselves. You know what I mean? We really lose something that unless we stop to focus, it's already gone. It becomes an
yeah,
artifact. You know what I mean? Yeah,
100%.
like I said.
Absolutely. All we have is the moment, right? So, I mean, for sure, the science doesn't do anything to help you experience the magnificent of the clouds. You know,
Right.
science is just more
Exactly.
knowledge. And what's the point in ruminating on that unless you're a molecular biologist and you're dealing with hydroscopic raindrops and trying to figure out oceanic currents based on wind
Right.
movements? I mean, and that's cool. And I would even argue, why are you doing that? You know, like, so for me, it's all about following your love and following your passion, right? And when
Yeah.
you're outside of fear-based narratives, when you're outside of the mind, when you're outside of the idea that you have to, or you should, or you've got to, or you need to, you know, then it's a different story, right? And the majority of
Absolutely.
people are in the should, gotta, need to. They feel that they have to, and that this is the way that it is because it has to be, and there is no other way.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's kind of when you get stuck, and that's when you suffer in the illusions.
Most definitely. So I have to ask you, what is three things you're grateful for in this world then, in your life?
Oh wow. I'm just grateful. It's all encompassing for me, you know. Like I could just make a bunch of noises with my mouth and I could name all kinds of words and symbols and sentences and structures, but for me it's just the experience of life, you know. Like
Yeah.
we're the experience of life. Like the interesting thing is we identify a lot of the times with labels and constructs, you know, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a laborer, I'm a worker, I'm a Canadian, I'm an American, I'm here, I'm there. And I mean, those are all just more noises too, right? Just flapping the gums, creating vibrations and interpreting those with our ears and creating beliefs and judgments. And it's all
Yeah.
made up. Everything in humanity is made up. So I mean, what are the three things that I'm grateful for? Well, those three things would just be more modalities that would be constructed by the human intelligence, right? So I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the experience. You know, I'm grateful for all that it has to offer, for the
Yeah.
present moment right now, spending time with you, having a conversation, just being
Yeah.
here, and
I
for every
love
other
it.
moment that will come after and after and after.
I love it. I love it because it really does make you realize that everything really means nothing if you don't give it that power, if you don't give it that acknowledgement. But just
Yeah,
to live the life as it comes, now that is truly the gift of it of itself. That's the gift of just life. You know, the
absolutely.
opportunity to just experience whatever that comes in your day and just experience the emotions. You know what I mean? Like I heard somebody say once that um to have emotions, to experience life, is a gift because there are people out there that don't have emotions or they can't understand their emotions. So to feel excited, to feel happy, to feel sad, to feel angry, to feel all of these things that can be so powerful, it can truly make you so grateful for the fact that you get to even experience it. So it really
Yeah,
is
I mean, it
interesting.
can for sure. The thing that's kind of weird about emotions, right, is emotions are just sensations,
Yeah.
right? So they're like emotions are just designed to depict the current experience, which is just another way of saying the present moment, right? So
Yeah.
when you're happy, you're happy. When you're sad, we're sad, right? I mean, when somebody that you love passes from this earth, you're sad. And that's the emotional response that you feel. You know, when something great happens and you've mastered something that you've been spending your time and your energy on, you feel happy, you feel elated. That's just an emotion, right? So the idea is to not live from maladaptive emotions, to not live by things getting stuck on. So the idea of grief and sadness when someone passes, somebody can hang on to that, continually perpetuate a narrative and a story for the next 15, 20 years about scarcity, lack, not enough, how I'm not okay, the missing of that human being,
Yeah.
the symbolic representation of what it means to have them or not have them in their life. We can also do that with the great things too that we master. The majority of humans don't do that, and because that's not how we're wired. You know, we're not wired for the joy and the beauty. We're wired for survival, like any animal, because we're an animal. So it's a little bit different and nuanced in that way. But yeah, I mean, everybody experiences emotions. Most people are emotionally reactive. Most people
Yeah.
are triggered by circumstances, objective circumstances and situations in life that create metaphysical emotional responses within them. So somebody
Right.
says something, cortisol gets released, your blood pressure elevates, your mind starts racing, you turn into a fight or flight mechanism, your creative brain shuts off.
Hmm.
It's not usually online to begin with in the first place, but and then that's it. Now we're tunnel vision, right? And now
Yeah.
we're living in fear and afraid in the moment, experiencing an emotion, and then most of the time living through that emotion from a
Yeah.
maladaptive standpoint. So
Absolutely. Well, that's so interesting. Thank you so much for this opportunity
yeah.
to pick your brain and to share your insight and to hear how you think about this topic and about everything else that we've spoken about so far. It really is interesting and it really does make me think about this differently and most definitely how to be more present and be more aware of what's just in front of me instead of just everything else, you know.
For sure,
As an
yeah.
overthinker, that is something that I most definitely work on every day because every day I'm just want to be present. And I know that time is catching up to us. So it sucks because I feel like we can keep going down this rabbit hole in different directions. And what can be some lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Well, I mean, I would argue that let go of the idea to think, let go of the need to think, right? I mean, time is just an illusion in itself too, right? Time keeps a
Mhm.
lot of people on the treadmill, on the cycle, on the rumination and the narrative of scarcity, right? Not enough time, not enough resources, not enough money. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
you look at your clock or you look at your watch, or you look at your phone, the only time it ever is right now. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter when it is, right? It's always now. What time is it, Zach? It's right now.
Mm.
So that's it. That's all you've got, you know. So live that moment, live that experience now. And my invitation to people is to let go. I mean, the only way to live in peace and live a content experience of life is to let go. Let go of the beliefs, let go of the narratives, let go of the structures and the constant need for more, the constant need to analyze and ruminate and just live the experience of life. And once you do that, that's when your creative brain comes online, as I mentioned before. And that's when you can really pursue your passions and your love and your gifts. I mean, we're all the experience of life, but we're all unique in this own meat suit and this own vessel that is sitting here making noises with my mouth. And you're listening to those noises, and your uniqueness is unsurmountable, it's unsurpassed. So get in touch with that. And you get in
Yeah.
touch with that in the moment. And once you do that, now you can pursue, as I said, your loves. You can pursue your passions, and you can add value to the world. And that's where the real fulfillment and contentment comes in. It's not
Yeah.
from listening to other people tell you what you need to do and think that you're not good enough. So
Oh, Exactly. Because at the end of the day, you're good enough as you are. And I love the fact that you brought up the
Yeah,
concept of time because I absolutely agree. I don't think our concept of time is actually factual as people make it seem, that we really need to just realize like it's there, but it doesn't mean that it's everything. You know what I mean?
for
We
sure.
really have to just really focus on just right now, right in front of us. Just be in the moment, just be present, allow everything else to just wash away, go with the wind. You know what I mean? Allow it to just go with the
Yeah.
wind because it really means nothing because we're whole as we are. You know what I mean? We are beautiful as we are. We are amazing as we are. But
Hmm.
when we allow ourselves to overthink it and just think way too much, then yeah, it really does become a problem. So yeah, be present and just allow everything else to just go. Allow it to just go like the rain. We don't try to catch the rain. We don't get
Exactly.
upset when the rain hits us. We just allow it to just continue to flow. And I think
A lot of people
once
do.
right, exactly. People really do get upset because of rain falling or just
Yeah.
rain hits them. Like, no, just be in the moment. Allow it to feel the rain, embrace it, just everything. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Jack, for this conversation and for this time. And ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this conversation, because how could you not? Please go check out Zach. I have access to his websites. You can find, if you're on my website, you can find his photo, click on it, and it goes to his. Or if you're listening, on audio or on YouTube, just click the link under and you find access to his website to find great content so that you can either continue on thinking or stop thinking and just be in the present moment. That's an option now. So with that being said, bye.